Imagine witnessing the world's greatest athletes compete, all while standing in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. In just a minute, we'll take you behind the scenes of the 2024 Paris Olympics and show you what it was really like. From the intense table tennis matches to the exhilarating football games, we were right there amidst the action. But it wasn't just about the sports. Picture yourself strolling through Parisian streets, marveling at iconic landmarks and indulging in delectable macarons. We'll give you a taste of the seamless blend of modern tech and timeless Parisian charm that was nothing short of magical. This is your front row seat to the real Paris Olympics.
The good thing about Paris is it's only a 35-minute flight from London.
After grabbing our bags, we hopped onto the metro and headed about an hour and a half south to Choisy-le-Roi, where our hotel was located. It wasn't great weather for the opening ceremony, as you probably saw on TV, so we decided to go to a fan park close to our hotel and shelter from the rain with drinks and snacks. Luckily, we found a big umbrella to hide under and watched the opening ceremony action from afar on a big screen.
This red smoke is as a result of the Patrouille Acrobatique de France flying over, or the Acrobatic Patrol of France. The rain has started. The French were not amused. Also, this part of Paris looks like Soviet Russia.
Definitely doesn't feel like the center of Paris, but I suppose that's kind of like London. All the boroughs feel different.
I must say they labelled everything very well for the Olympics. Yeah, we were surprised how close you could get actually to the Eiffel Tower, considering everything that had been going on.
This was the countdown clock to the start of the opening ceremony, so because this is the next day, we're of course seeing it at 0 hours.
I think this was the catwalk bridge, if you saw that on the opening ceremony. This was the only bad day weather-wise that we encountered. The rest of the trip was glorious sunshine.
Some people think this looks like an Eiffel Tower, but it's actually a Phrygian cap. Paris chose it as their mascot for the 2024 Olympics, and it's widely recognized as a symbol of freedom and actually has been a part of French history for centuries, and I think it's pretty cute. And no trip to Paris is complete without some macarons. So this is macaron shop number 1 out of 3 that we actually visited. For research purposes, of course.
And we thought we would tuck into them before our first event. Queue systems varied depending on what event you were seeing. Table tennis moved quickly, but it did take long to get into. Tennis, which you'll see later on, the queue took about 2 hours. So it did vary from event to event and how well they handled the queue system. I think this was a temporary arena that they set up just for a few events.
We were so excited here though, we didn't know what to expect. It was our first event. Also, this was later in the evening. I believe table tennis didn't start until
8 p.m. I think, and it ended up running till midnight, which meant we actually had to run for the last train back to our hotel.
That was the only downside, I'd say. A lot of the trains and metros we were getting weren't running as late as the events we were at, so that made it a bit stressful.
First event though was table tennis. Similar to tennis, I thought we'd have to be silent during rounds in table tennis, but that was the complete opposite.
Here's my little Phrygian mascot that I actually won from the International Hockey League, and they sent it to me. So of course he had to come to Paris.
First up was USA.
I was interested to see though that it was 4 games happening at once. It was a lot to watch, and the crowds would cheer for different people from different games, and it was quite the experience.
Next day, the rain had passed, and we decided to explore some of Paris before our evening event. We got some lunch by Notre Dame. They're currently trying to finish the repair works to the spire, which I'm sure everyone saw that when it burnt down. I think this bridge is Pont Neuf.
This building is the Louvre Museum, and of course you have the iconic pyramid to the right, and across from here to the left are the gardens where the Olympic flame was held. However, it's not a normal cauldron, it's a hot air balloon, which you'll see in a minute.
As you can see by the crowds, it was exceptionally busy in this area. This was the busiest area out of everywhere that we went to in Paris.
Yeah, I would say actually surprisingly, out with like the venues, it didn't feel that busy to me. I was very surprised by that. And there we have it, there's the flame.
We got the RER trains everywhere in Paris instead of the metro due to our hotel location. They were great. Quick crepe stop.
These were so good. As Ian said earlier, after queuing for about 2 hours, we made it into the Roland-Garros stadium, where the French Open is actually played. And we timed it so well because we made it about under a minute until our first game started, so we got very lucky.
Yeah, so if you saw on TV a lot of the stadiums with empty seats, that's probably primarily the reason, because people just didn't get in on time. We did see Coco Gauff though, who's the number 2 player in the world, and also the number 4 men's player. Trying desperately to make it onto the big screen.
I don't think we made it onto the big screen once, which I'm very sad about, at 4 events. This stadium was very cool. It's like the creme de la creme of tennis stadiums, and it was so cool that we got to watch the Olympics here.
The next day, we went to field hockey.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a field hockey game. I didn't know anything about field hockey. But the girls put on a good show. We saw our first game was Japan versus China. China won. And the next game was US versus Spain.
We had to eat these ice lollies very quickly because they were melting in the Paris heat. Just trying to protect my face from getting burnt.
After this, we headed back on the metro to a station mall and got some more macarons.
And we wanted to try and make it into the Champions Park at the base of the Eiffel Tower.
Now, if you've ever been to Paris before, you'll know that this area is all open. It's gardens, I believe, actually, but they had it all closed off. Still free to enter, but you had to go through a queue system.
And there they are, the Olympic medals. This was actually probably my favourite thing that we did while we were in Paris. Just sitting on these bleachers in the Champions Park, watching some games on the big screen. It was cool.
Mesdames, Messieurs, dans quelques instants, la Tour Eiffel va briller. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And of course, we had to wait until the light show hit at night time. Every hour on the hour, after 8 PM I think, depends on the season, but the Eiffel Tower lights up for 5 minutes. This Champions Park is where all the medal winners would parade their medals during the day.
And that stadium directly behind the Eiffel Tower is where they held the beach volleyball.
We thought we would quickly go on the metro and see the Olympic torch at night. Our last activity was football, which was in another cool stadium. It's where PSG play their home games.
Here we didn't see any big teams, but we saw Uzbekistan versus Dominican Republic.
And Uzbekistan had a small army with them of supporters.
Yeah, they really carried the crowd.
Most people were just trying to not die of the heat though at this stage, which is why the area that's hit by the sun, no one's sitting there. This is actually the largest helium balloon in the world.
And of course, because Ian is an adrenaline junkie and loves heights, we had to go up it. The views from it were actually quite impressive. It was a cool perspective onto Paris that probably most don't see. But it did feel a bit sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. There's a Sacré-Cœur in the distance on the hill, and of course the Eiffel Tower.
With the river Seine, and then downtown Paris in the distance.
Yeah, the Paris you don't normally see.
Time to get the RER back to our hotel. As I said earlier, they really signposted everything really well for the Olympics, and there was workers throughout all the stations, and yeah, it just felt much nicer than previous Paris trips we've taken.
I know a lot of us have mixed feelings about Paris, but you have to admit, this time the city really surprised us. It was a whirlwind week with the 4 events we attended, and Paris truly brought its A-game. It felt like a whole new city emerged to host the world. Whether you're a fan of Paris or not, these games have definitely shown us a side that we haven't seen before. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.